So for my presentation, or for my big board, I really wanted something that would grab the audience attention, that would really make people think a lot. And I kind of automatically thought of the afterlife. People don't really know a lot about it, and I thought it was a really interesting topic. For my paper, I kind of struggled with what I wanted to try and say with it, and I started off writing it by saying that I tried to prove that the afterlife does exist, and then after writing for a little while, I realized that it wasn't quite as fun, so I decided to switch it and say that people made up the afterlife and that it's not real. Um, but for my presentation, I wanted to kind of change the feel of it a little bit, and not make it as negative as my paper was. So for my paper, or for my presentation, we're going to focus on reasons why people made up the idea of the afterlife. So kind of the uncertainties about it, the security that it provides, and then the purpose that it provides people. So some reasons that people made it up is the idea of heaven and hell, or that prove that it is made up. The first one is that God can be considered greedy by sending Satan and his followers to hell after uprising against him. God is sending them to hell to be punished for eternity for trying to maintain power, but by sending them there, God is kind of greedily taking all the power for himself. Since greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, God would be punished, or should be punished, accordingly. And if you go off of Dante's Inferno, the comedy, that's a certain punishment that I need to look up, but I don't remember what it is right now. So it can be argued that it was a made-up concept because of the fact that God is sinning by creating hell, in essence. It's not fair. Satan or the angels said they were punished for doing the same thing that God does by maintaining power and trying to obtain power. Secondly, is that God is acting against his nature. He is said to be good by nature and said that he is all holy and loving of everyone and accepting. And by sending people to hell to be tortured for eternity, that is not in his nature. Somewhere I read that it is violent or dangerous or anything in any way that is not an act of God, and hell is most certainly not fitting into that, since it is various torture methods for eternity for people that didn't choose to live their life a certain way. So God is acting contrary to how someone would believe that he would if he was actually good by nature. Kind of inconsistencies that these things have kind of help prove that the whole idea is a man-made idea, because people are not perfect, therefore they cannot come up with a perfect idea, so you can kind of poke holes in the logic and prove that it is not real. Just keep in mind that I'm not trying to disprove anything that anyone believes in. This is simply me just kind of presenting different viewpoints. Another reason is in the novel The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson, it discussed the idea of suffering and how suffering brings one closer to God and Jesus because they are able to understand the pain that he had to go through while dying on the cross for our sins. The problem with this is that when someone is sent to hell, they're being tortured for eternity, therefore their sufferings are greater and they're suffering a lot more. So that doesn't make any sense, because if they're being tortured and suffering in hell, technically that should make them really close to God. So that would make heaven and hell technically switched, because once someone is entering into heaven, and it's said that all of their sufferings are taken care of and they're taken away, and that they're being able to live good lives that they deserve because they live their physical lives well. to the standard of God or whatever. So the suffering aspect does not make any sense. Um, what else? Another one is that religion is super inconsistent. If you just think of the religion, I'm gonna ask it. So another one is religion. Can everyone just kind of shout out whatever? Just say religion, just something. God, wait, people don't know. Okay, yeah, good. See, you kind of came up with a couple different ones just right off the top of your head, and that's exactly my point. There are tons of different religions and tons of different beliefs, and there's no way that one can be proven correct over another, and that kind of makes it hard to prove that religion and afterlife and spirituality and stuff is all real. It kind of causes a lot of problems with when someone is Christian and believes one thing and is Jewish and believes something else, and then Hindu and believes completely something or something completely different. Inconsistencies in religion kind of allow you to believe that it was interpreted or something was interpreted by a person and kind of split into various things, making it a man-made idea. Some specific examples are with the idea of the afterlife in different religions. This is kind of something that's really prevalent in all religions, is an idea in life beyond death. So, for example, Christianity believes in eternal heaven or hell, and then also purgatory, so it's kind of like a punishment before you are able to reach heaven. This does not add up with Judaism, which does not believe in hell at all. They just only believe in heaven. So like once you die, you automatically are sent into heaven despite what you have done. And then another one is Hinduism. They believe in nirvana, so it's a state of being opposed to a specific place, such as a heaven. And then once you have reached nirvana, then you can choose to be reincarnated as a teacher of sorts and help other people achieve nirvana as well. So they believe in reincarnation and then state of being opposed to a physical place, and the whole ideas are a lot different, and that causes problems, which cause people not to believe in religion, which is all of what this is. But just reasons why people don't believe in it because of these various things. Another example is the fact that Christianity stemmed from Judaism. It's hard to kind of justify the fact that it was a guy created all of it and stuff, and it was all his idea and stuff when one religion is able to split and kind of go off in two separate, like completely separate directions. It's really hard to kind of justify that was a godly thing to do. And even if it was kind of, even if you can say that, like, even if you do say that, crap, I lost my train of thought here. It was some sort of prophet where someone was listening to God and kind of interpreting what he was saying, and still their interpretation making it a godly, or, a man-made thing opposed to something that God directly said, directly did, directly influenced. So, the inconsistencies in religion are a really big factor in why people choose not to believe in them and why there are so many uncertainties around the idea of religion and death and the afterlife and everything like that. I expanded more on this in my big board, or my research paper, but that'll do for now. What else do I have? Okay, now we're kind of going into why people choose to believe in the afterlife, opposed to why they would not. And one big reason is security about life and about death. People want to feel secure about something. They want to have answers, and the afterlife helps them do that. When someone dies, there are, like I said, uncertainties about what happens, and it makes people kind of uneasy with the idea of death, and they struggle with grieving, and they struggle with the whole process. So having an idea of the afterlife be created for them is one way to make people feel a lot better and more secure about their lives, or about death, excuse me. But that's not the only reason. People kind of choose to turn to religion and choose to turn to certain beliefs because it helps them kind of be around people that share those same beliefs. People are able to feel more secure if they're around people that they're sharing the same ideas with, and that's a big thing with religion. They're all having the same kind of sort of moral standpoint on things. They have the same ideas. They have the same viewpoints about at least religion. They know they have that in common. It makes people more comfortable when they know that. So in their lives also, not even just the idea of the afterlife, it makes them more comfortable being around certain people and being involved in a certain group. Being in a certain group makes you feel more powerful, makes you feel more comfortable. And religion's really a big deal to a lot of people because of that reason. To go back to the whole kind of moral system, that's why hell was created, kind of, to kind of give people, this is what's going to happen if you don't do this, this, and this. So it kind of creates a moral system almost. So it kind of makes people more comfortable because they know that that will be in place in the people that they are around in church or wherever they choose to practice their beliefs. So in my paper, I talked about how it gives believing in afterlife and religion gives people a false sense of purpose in their life, because I argued that they were living for the afterlife more so than their physical lives. But I don't necessarily believe that 100%. I thought I kind of read my paper, went along with the rest of my paper really well, kind of disproving all of it and really making a kind of cynical paper in a little bit. But I don't think it has this false sense at all. I mean, my paper kind of said that it was people were or would kind of not blindly follow religion and God and that whole thing, but they would put more emphasis on it than they recognized and kind of end up wasting their physical lives because they are trying to reach this goal of a happy afterlife opposed to a happy physical life, and they're kind of like hoping like, oh, maybe if I get into heaven all this crap will be done, it'll be fine, it'll be good. And they kind of just take away purpose from their physical lives. But I think that it's really important to kind of recognize that believing in these things and feeling better about things and really whatever it does, it kind of makes you feel better, makes you feel like satisfied and stuff. So it really does give you actual purpose, not a false sense, an actual purpose, because it's making you feel better in your physical lives. Yes, you are kind of hoping and trying to get to a goal endpoint, but I feel like you're kind of always setting goals, and goals give you more purpose almost. More incentive to do things in a certain way. So it gives you, so I'd argue that it gives you more purpose also. It could be argued either way, but yeah. So yeah. If people are happy and content with their beliefs and what they do and how their life is going, and that's all that really matters, and that's the whole point of the creation of the afterlife, and the whole point in believing in anything is to just be content and be happy and to kind of just do whatever you want, because that's all that really matters in the end. But yeah, so in my paper I talked a little bit about grieving and how believing in the afterlife makes that process easier. And I wanted to kind of expand on that for my service learning project. I've actually had a lot of struggles with this because grief counseling is a really kind of important skill that you have to have a lot of training for and a lot of experience for, because you can't just kind of go in there and be like, oh, it'll be okay, don't worry. So I've actually had a really hard time finding places that I could help out with and what to do. And I'm still kind of searching. Mr. Stein suggested that I kind of throw a party for people that are in like grief counseling seminar kind of things almost and stuff, so they can focus more on positives, and kind of celebrate the death of their loved ones and like know like they were here, it's good, and kind of just be happy for a second. So that's an idea. Emily White suggested that I have like a Day of the Dead party to kind of show how in some Mexican culture how they choose to kind of focus on death and the afterlife and how they think this is a more positive thing. They have like a big party and they can invite their past loved ones to them and stuff, and they like celebrate that they were here at one point, and I think that was really cool. So to have like kind of like a party and kind of talk about that a little bit. Or like might like teach kids about how that is a thing and how like different types of grieving and how what I found is like most beneficial, what works the best, and like that kind of thing. I'm not really sure yet. Still brainstorming, but hopefully that works. I'm really excited to figure something out. I think it'd be a cool experience regardless of what I end up doing. But in conclusion, regardless of whether someone believes in life after death, or religion, or is spiritual in any way, or not, it really doesn't matter as long as the person is happy and as long as they are content with their lives and they whatever. As long as they're happy, it's all that really matters. So even though I kind of shared reasons why people don't believe in the afterlife, I think it's more important to focus on how I think it's more important to focus on why they did choose to. So I think I might change that for my next video. Focus more on why they chose to, or why people choose to believe in the afterlife opposed to why not. So yeah, we'll do that. Bye.